everybody, welcome to the channel for a new Warhall battle report. So I've been making 2 training games before my tournament Bellum Lacum, and I wanted to discuss about this first battle report, which is Infernal Dwarves. So it's a French player that is following my channel and proposed me to play a game, and I was really eager to play a practice game against shooty Infernal Dwarves. And as you will see, has plenty of tools that could scare Ogre can, which is nice for a test. So my list was the following. I explained it in the previous video, and this is his list. It's in French, so I will try to quickly translate it for you. But he has a commissioner with Onyx Core. He has then a master of alchemy on Lugar. He has a little vizier on a bull, flying bull with hero's heart, a Lamassu, 30 blunderbuss with a bastion, 22 vassal levies, 2 block of slaves with 30 and 31, 4 anointed with shield infernal weapon, musician champion, a shooty titan with rocket battery, and then an infernal engine with naphtha thrower. We played capture the flag on end cycle, and below you have the spell selection of both players. Matchup analysis. So he has multiple multi-wound threats. He has Onyx Core, naphtha, rocket, a lot of things that could be scary to Ogre Khan, which could make hard for me to approach and attack him. I identified that he might struggle to chaff me far from his battle line, because the slave can only chaff 12. So I need also to find a way to engage slave, because they are likely to just what usually ID player do, and I'm saying that after having played against ID another game after this one, but basically just to throw the slave forwards to force the opponent to deal with them, and then try to countercharge with something else. Small bull could be managed by giant and also magic missiles. A Scratapult needs for me to reduce the bastion's numbers to make it easier for me to engage and reduce the number of turns that he might be steadfast. Since we are playing Capture the Flag, I'm in no rush to start the game. His short range, what he can do with range damage, so no need for me to start. I'm more eager to see where he goes and then adapt my deployment and counter-deploy in the proper way to really target his flags. Estimation was drawish. Deployment. So what happened is he wandered all for side and surprisingly gave me something that I liked. I think he wanted to protect some of his line with the impassable but still play on both parts of it, which surprised me a bit. After that I decided to let him start to deploy. He started with some slave over here, then I think some slave over here, then pretty quickly the tank, and after that I guess maybe some vassals. After this point he decided to drop. What I put in the meantime, I started with my first drop was some dogs, then I put a Scratapult, and my third drop was the giant. Basically the idea with the giant was not to mitigate too much. He already put the slave down, so I saw that he could put his Kalim Titan on the left to shoot me turn run, but I would be basically baiting him to be dropped here to deal with my giant, and then I could easily move away, retreat, and he would only move 7, 7, 7, and basically be most of the time out of the game, which I liked. He took the bait and decided to put his Kalim Titan here, which didn't surprise me too much, and basically drop at this point, I guess. Put the Vizier here near the naphtha thrower. So basically I tried to minimize his shooting and low movement units, and basically put all my strengths in front of his flags. So he has here vassals, slaves, bastion, Lamassu, and the BSB within the anointed. I put my 4 Tasker Ginget here on the far right. Then here I have a Scratapult, my big boss with all the character, the 3 Taskers, the dogs, second Scratapult, the 2 tribesmen in the back because we're playing Capture the Flag, and here I have my Scraplings Trapper that are trapping the water and going to trap then the hill basically. He's turn 1, so he's pushing forward on the left, starting to move slowly towards the middle. I'm quite happy to occupy all these units with only the giant, and on the right he didn't move much, decided to stay behind the hill because I don't have any line of sight with this Catapult, and this one might have one, but it's going to be long range. In the magic phase, I dispel -1 armor save on my Death Star. He got some hereditary on the Death Star as well, and got Silver Spike on my big Tusker, but did only 1 wound. It was the big spike and got that on 2 dice, but did only 1 wound, so it was okay for me. And with shooting attack, It was on a 5-up. He hit and wounds and did 2 wounds to my giant, which was totally okay for me. It was a risk that I accepted by getting into this spot. My turn 1. So I started to retreat from the left flank, like I mentioned. So I went into the forest, gaining some nice cover, but still looking at his unit here with 3 units, being the Tuskers, a Squatapult, and the Giant, not making too easy for him to push towards the middle. And in the meantime, I wanted to be a bit more aggressive on the right, so I trapped the hill, took a position here behind the hill, but as you will see after, I made a small mistake. It was the first time I was using trappers, and I just gave him here an opportunity to push forward and be aggressive. I found out that I have both catapult within short range of a flag, Vassal Levies. I felt I am going to be aggressive with the dogs. Likelihood that I do something on the Vassal is quite good, and if I manage to reduce the number, then the dogs could maybe hunt them and get a first flag. In the magic phase, I got End of Heaven on the Anointed here, did 1 wound. Then I tried to get Savage Fury on them, thinking if he fails the Frenzy check to charge them, it could be huge for the game. Basically, he could lose the Anointed because I could countercharge with both. He could be in huge trouble. So I was quite excited, but I failed the roll for the spell, and then he dispelled my Comet. Shooting, I got 1 hit with one of the Squatapult, killed 12, and the other one got a misfire 6, loses a wound. And yeah, he passes here steadfast check on the 9, no reroll, which was already quite important. His turn 2, he pushes forward with the slave, lost a couple of them due to the traps, and uses my trappers to basically shield himself from any charges from my bruiser block into his main block, which was smartly done. He pushes a bit, but not much. I think he could have trusted his Anointed a bit more by saying his bodyguard. He could probably put them flammable. Maybe that's why he hadn't put them flammable yet. Maybe that should have been his first target to be able to push more with the Anointed. And the rest, yeah, he just moved slightly. The tank here still remained far away from my threats, but wanted to get some shot on the dogs. And here, I think he moved 7 here, and I think here maybe failed a march check or something, or he just wheel around. Something like that. In the magic phase, I got another hereditary on my Death Star, a failed deceptive glamour, and Silver Spike did nothing on my Tusker. I dispel Flaming Sword. On Nafta Thrower, shoot at dog, but it was long range, it did nothing at me. And with shooting of the Bastion, it did only 1 wound to my Tuskers, which is not, yeah, I wasn't unhappy that he did only 1 wound to me. My turn, and here I just brain fart. I completely forgot that the slaves are unstable. So I thought I was going to be intelligent when doing a combo charge and overrunning into his flank and just saying the game is over. But then at the end of this turn, I'm going to realize that they are unstable. They just pop and my Death Star cannot overrun. And now I have a Death Star in the middle of the board within shooting range of Nafta Thrower, short range, plus Bastion, everything. So the game is going to be less, how could I say, less... yeah, much more action than I expected, maybe less control than I expected. I'm putting another trap counter here, moved my trappers here to chaff this unit at least. The rest, I just moved sideways with them, repositioned some of my unit. In magic phase, I did get Rod of Battle on my unit here. Put -1 strength on the Bastion, anticipating the overrun that is not going to happen, and getting another battle focus, I guess. 2 Squatapult on a 4-up against the Bastion unit didn't hit. And then I one-shot them, and here I realize, stupid me, I cannot overrun. So I'm just going to reform the dogs looking at the scoring unit. And those guys reform forward to basically make a front for the Bastion and so on. His turn. So he decided to double charge here, but cannot only fit with the Lamassu. I think the right play would have been not expose the Lamassu and only charge with the Anointed, which was enough. Turn around the Bastion to shoot me, and obviously brings the tank at short range. Reroll to wound, strength 6, strength 5. It's going to be difficult for me to swallow. He puts his small vizier in front of them to chaff me, and decide to turn around again, looking at me, I guess. And the rest just here, he failed the march check and moved forward, and here move forward to shoot me, but it's only going to be 6 up in the flank. In magic phase, I Binding Scroll Flaming Sword because I didn't want to make my problem even harder. He got -1 armor save on my Death Star, which I didn't care too much, and then the tank shot at my Death Star and killed 17 wounds. Yeah, that was expected. He then decided to shoot with the Titan on a 6-up on my Giant and still managed to hit 2 times, wounds 2 times, and did 4 wounds to my Giant, which is annoying. And the Bastion decided to not shoot at my Bruisers, which surprised me a bit. He shot at the Tuskers and killed 1 model. And Lamassu, with 4 attacks and 1 stomp, killed all of the little guy, which was a bit disappointed. I would have expected 1 maybe to remain and just be annoying, force him a restraint check and so on. My turn. So now basically I'm in big trouble because I have a depleted Bruisers in the middle of the board, and if I don't engage his shooting unit, basically I'm going to lose heavily. So I need to find solution to engage both the Bastion and the tank. I'm going to triple charge the tank. I think the Scratapult was the wrong idea. It was on a 10 Swift Strike that I failed. The Giant made sense on 1 wound, on a 10 as well. And those guys on a 6 managed to get it. Then I charge with the Shaman in the flank of the Bastion to basically pin him down. He cannot see me with this unit due to the Bastion size. Cannot see me, yeah. So I'm fine right now. I attempted a charge against the Lamassu to try to stick them, maybe do some wounds and open up some options for me. But I failed that charge on an 8. And other than that, yeah, I felt the charge was interesting because I could charge here. Either I go through and I kill the Lamassu, which is nice, less magic for him. Or we stick and basically I can reform, remain in the front. He cannot countercharge and he's kind of stuck. I felt that was quite interesting. Other than that, I just move around to get some spells off. In the magic phase, I'm going to get some buffs. I get Savage Fury on my Tuskers and +1 strength. He dispel +1 strength and AP, but I'm able to get -1 resilience. And close combat, I roll quite good and did exactly the 7 wounds I needed, and I killed tank. Which is fortunate, I have to admit. As you can see here, we are on the less likely area. So I was quite happy with that. This puts me back in the game, to be honest. I was not in a good shape, so huge help here from the dice. And here I'm going to lose by 1 because I did 1 wound, he did 0, but 8 rollable, I pass it. And here I think that's the point of time where he could have reformed potentially. We thought it was not possible, but after reading the rules, I guess he could have, putting the Bastion here on the left and keeping my Shaman in base contact with 4 normal models. I think that's the rule. So he could have potentially stayed in a horde formation facing my Bruisers here on the left and basically augment his chances of killing the Shaman, breaking me, and then maybe even getting a charge but in the front, which we didn't think about during the game, or he didn't, at least. His turn 4. He pushed forward here, but was a bit afraid that I might just charge out with the BSB, charge with the Ginget, charge with the Scratapult, and charge with a small unit. So he decided not to be too aggressive. I think he could have angled a bit more to at least have a line of sight on these guys if they charge the flank of the Bastion. He charged with the Vizier against my dogs. Reposition his Lamassu in the spot here to be in the middle of my line and threaten my flags. Continue to move forward with his Kadim to shoot my Giant that failed charge, trying to provoke a panic check on Scratapult, which could be nice, and move also those guys a bit forward, and they didn't move much basically. In the magic phase, he got Hereditary on the Scratapult, this one I guess, which I'd let go through. Then he got -1 armor save on them, which didn't matter too much. I dispel Flaming Sword, and with shooting he did 1 token on those guys. Kadim Titan this time rolled poorly and didn't manage to roll any 4-up to hit my Giant, so I was quite happy with that. And the Shaman combat, I'm going to lose by 1. Lose by bunch because I rolled badly. I did 0 wounds, he did 1 wound to me, and he has like 3 rank and so on. So I lose by 4 and I pass a 5 rerollable, which is nice for me. So I think here it nearly paid off to keep his static res, because if he reforms he has no ranks anymore, but he could kill me and at least get the charge. So I think it was maybe right the first round to stay like that, but now he could have and should have reformed to face my upcoming charge. Here he cleaned all my dogs, overrun, but not much, so he's not too exposed to the Scratapult. My turn. I'm charging Lamasu in the flank with his catapult, which I get the Tusker into his flag, get those guys in the flank, reposition this catapult in the back, and those guys also backing off. And here I found a good reform, one wide, wheel around, I'm out of arc of them, which is nice. The giant, just telling him, if you want to kill me, come here, then Eucalium Titan is out of the game for the rest of the game, and if you just move forward, maybe you expose the slave to the giant. So we'll see. In magic phase, Trial phase did 2 wounds to the vizier, which is nice. Then I tried to do a big Hand of Heaven on him as well, but did 0 wounds. And the catapult combat, I did 1 wound, he did 1 wound as well. He loses by a flank and a charge, but passes the 7 rollable, which means now I lost catapult. And then, yeah, I also wanted to try out to see how that combat goes. This one, I just kill all of them and reform. And this combat, he was still steadfast after the end of combat. And passes the check. His turn, he charges catapult with the Toric, I fled, and he redirect, passes the check and charge here, charge with the Vizier as well, so yeah, he's going to clean that. Decided to ignore my Kadim and moving with the Kadim and moving forward to shoot at my flag here up top, which makes sense because if he roll well, he could easily kill, he could potentially kill them and get rid of a flag as well. Yeah, in the magic phase, what happens? He got hereditary on them, I guess, anticipating a counter charge in the combat. He got also Flaming Sword in a bubble. And the Titan shot at the Tusker did 2 wounds. I passed the panic check. And here he was steadfast still. He killed my catapult, decided to reform looking at bottom, thinking he could maybe eat more flags than looking up. I think he should have potentially looked up and tried to trap them at some point. Yeah, my turn 5, I charge with the Tusker here in the flank, move those guys away, reposition, rally, and chaff him in the flank here. Put my mage out of the unit. This is the Master Thaumaturgy guy. And here I charge a slave. They didn't pass. They 4 leadership panic check due to terror, and they just fled off the board. Really nice. Magic phase, I get Hand of Heaven off on the Lamasu, did nothing. He dispelled Trial phase. What did I get? And then -1 resilience in the close combat. And as you saw, I just killed the general from the Tusker attack and the mount guy. And then I kill all of them in his auto breaking. I pursued with Shaman plus the Tuskers and get rid of him. And I even got off the board with them. Basically, taking no risk. His thick turn is a charge on my chaff. Get this charge on a 9 to get rid of the second catapult. And just reposition. He's going to shoot at my giant, kill him. Kill those guys, kill that, and then my last round didn't match. I tried to blast to kill basically some. I just used Trial phase at the Vizier, but did nothing, and that was the end of the game. Ended up being a 16-4 because I killed his general. I took scanner objective, captured the flag, and I lost a lot, but he lost more than me basically. Post-game analysis, so yeah, I think I was right to see where it drops. It was a very open game, much more than I expected after I committed my Death Star against the slave. Yeah, this is also for me a training effect where I want to try out stuff. I didn't think too much about, yeah, slaves, unstable, I forgot about that. And just thought I was being smart, but it backfired against me. But then I think I reacted in a good way, and this was an uncommon situation, so it was also interesting for me to be in this hard situation and try to recover. And I found the right solution by engaging the shooting to stop it. But then I was a bit lucky. I think the deciding point was me getting rid of the tank. This put me back in the game. Turn 1, Ogre, I should have put the trappers in a formation that doesn't allow the Bastion to be in front of me and me not charging. Could have been just 1 wide, and more to the right would have been the same. Turn 2, huge mistake against the slave. Like I said, I was punished by the Nafta that shot the crap out of me. Infernal Dwarf turn 4, decisive leadership check for the Shaman. Also worth mentioning, I got a 5 rollable. If I flee, is likely... I think he couldn't really have pursued me because he would have gone past the Death Star, but then he's exposing the flank of the Anointed to the Death Star. So he had to reform and look me in the front, but at least it's a front, it's not a flank. So it was still an important check for me. Catapult attempt didn't work from range or for charges. I killed a couple of vassals, turn 1, which was nice, but after that didn't do much with them. Combat buff were key again, to have +1 strength, to have -1 resilience mattered a lot, plus the battle focus stuff. Titan, I think for him, his deployment wasn't perfect. He should have put, I think, the tank on the right side of the house and the Titan on the right side of the house and the tank on the left or the opposite, but something more central, because they don't move that fast and you want those two to be available. And the Bastion and the Anointed, I think, were a bit stuck on this right flank. He wasn't able to do much with the Anointed that are a big threat in the game. So I think could have deployed a bit better to cause me more troubles. And what I should have done turn 1 is basically, I think first declare a charge with the dogs against his core unit. He has to flee, I guess, because if he doesn't, he dies and I have a free pivot in his backline, which is annoying. So I think he has to flee, and then I could redirect in the slaves flank to just block them and kill some of them. Then I can decide whether or not I want to engage as well with the Tuskers, or if he stays, I can just engage with the Tuskers. There is no bad countercharge, and then I'm in the flank of the Bastion looking at him, which is also going to be an issue for him. So I think here I had plenty of option to play better on turn 2, and then just use the trappers to chaff both here and have my Tusker get ready to countercharge if I need to. Okay guys, that's all for this battle report. I hope you liked it, and talk to you soon on the channel for the second training game before the Bellum Lacum. Bye bye.